This is Matt Scott for AVNation.tv. I'm here in Orlando, Florida for InfoComm 17 in the SDVOE booth with my friend Justin. How are you, sir?
Welcome aboard, Matt. I'm doing very well, thank you.
All right, so let's talk about SDVOE. Tell us about it, what it is, and why you're here at InfoComm.
Got it. So SDVOE is a new alliance, started in February this year, launched at ISE. We've grown to 22 members now, and SDVOE is about standardizing an approach for AV over IP. In the past, we lived in a world where you had to make a choice between the performance of a matrix switch, right? No latency, no compromise, perfect video quality, but limited scalability, flexibility. Or you could choose an AV over IP system with great flexibility, scalability, low cost, and you'd have to pay some penalty in latency and video quality. You have to make that trade-off. SDVOE is here to establish a performance standard that says we don't have to make that compromise. The technology behind SDVOE allows you to have zero latency, perfect image quality over Ethernet networks that are scalable and flexible. But more than that, more than a transport, SDVOE has built into it, I call it intelligent distributed processing. That means every endpoint in an SDVOE system has capability of scaling, a frame rate conversion, can make multi-viewers, can make video walls, and then all of this is controlled through a single, easy-to-use programming API. Right, so what's important about that now is I have an ecosystem of partner companies, 22 today, and growing. These devices are all interoperable from a hardware perspective, but it's that API layer that they all respond to that lets you now use the ecosystem as a single piece of software. So now, instead of living in a world where I need a multi-viewer, how do you get a multi-viewer? You go find somebody who makes a multi-viewer piece of hardware, you buy it, you install it. You want a video wall controller? Go to the store and buy a video wall controller. With an SDVOE system, instead, the intelligence and the processing is distributed in the network, and you use software through that API to determine what your application is. You need a KVM switch? Program it to be a KVM switch today. You need a multi-viewer? Program in a multi-viewer. Now software defines the application because we've built a platform that this technology can be built upon, right? So now the application makers have an easy way to address their users' needs, their users' problems, without having to redesign a completely new hardware system for every design.
Very good. Now, because you've added 22 vendors and obviously looking for potentially more in the future, how does bringing them all together with all their different products and you know, mindset, shall we say, how does achieving that, bringing them together, further benefit the user?
It's that diversity that's exactly what benefits the user, right? Because we have a very broad range of member companies. They are not just encoder and decoder manufacturers.
Right.
Of course, I have those. We have people in the alliance who build SDVOE encoders and SDVOE decoders. But I also have display manufacturers, Ethernet switch manufacturers, chip makers, technology providers, infrastructure providers like Belden, Panduit, Clearline, who build cable for Ethernet systems and accessories for that. What this allows under the Alliance umbrella is for all these companies to focus on their individual strengths and yet still have a forum in which they can work together. So now the integrator, the designer, the end user, recognizing that I need all the pieces of this ecosystem, can feel comfortable knowing that even though no one company out here can provide everything, all of these companies are working together as partners to deliver on their own strengths and deliver system-level, application-level products that work together easily.
Do you see this as a philosophical change in approach to the way in which AV is traditionally designed and implemented?
Yes, absolutely. And in two ways. One is, of course, we're helping to drive this transition for signal management from the matrix switch into the world of IP switching. Right. That's almost though a given. That's happening and that's going to happen, whether I help or not. But the more fundamental philosophical change is about the platform. It's about giving a stable place for software developers to come and build their applications. If you look at, the history of communication technologies, they all undergo this same transition. You start out with an analog solution, like the plain old telephone system. Eventually that digitizes, and you've got, in their case, PBX. Then that moves to some sort of over IP solution. This is your first forays into voice over IP. And then finally what happens is software platforms get established. The hardware becomes becomes stable and a software platform is built. This is iOS, this is Android,
yes.
This is Skype,
yep.
right? These are the platforms that we use to leverage all of that, in that case, voice over IP technology.
Right.
What we're building here is the very same thing for AV signal management, right? A base layer of technology with a programming interface built above it, so that now the industry can come, apply their creativity, solve user problems, and create new applications and solve existing applications in new ways.
So how does an end user or an integrator learn more about this new kind of philosophy in system design and really understand how this can help and change and transform their business?
Sure. So of course at shows like InfoComm, we put on training and education events for addressing that exact kind of question. Come to our website, SDVOE.org, where we have articles, white papers, information on that. And, we'll be announcing in the next week or so, but I'm going to give you the scoop.
Excellent.
The SDVOE World Tour is coming to a town near you in the second half of this year. We're going to be hitting Vegas, San Diego, Amsterdam, London, cities all over the world, and we want to do two things. Number one, introduce people to the concept of this alliance live and in person and help them understand this sort of philosophical shift, but then also help fill the very real knowledge gap that exists today between the AV integrator and the IT systems administrator.
Gotcha.
Right, and more, this is the last step in that AV IT convergence that we've been hearing about, right? Control systems went to Ethernet 20 years ago. Audio's been over Ethernet for 5 years now. Dante is huge at this show and has been. Right, so the last piece, we're undergoing this transition of video over Ethernet, but that's the holdup for this AV-IT convergence. So as the Alliance, the service we want to provide to the industry is education on that, right? What is a multicast? How do I use it? Why do I need VLANs? What is this all about? We want to teach the AV integrator to speak the language of the IT administrator so that we can more effectively work together and drive this convergence.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for your time. For more information, please visit your website, which is
SDVOE.org, or visit us on Twitter at SDVOE.
Excellent. And for more video from the show floor, please stop by AVNation.tv. That's AVNation.tv.